Hey, y'all, welcome back to the Late Night Vision Show. We've got another great episode for you today. We've got a review. We've been doing a lot of just general topic shows, answering a lot of questions we get, but we always like to get back to the reviews. My name's Jason Robertson, owner of Outdoor Legacy, one of your co hosts, Hans, my other co host here, my only co
Yeah,
host, I guess I should say. What's going
for
on, man?
now. For now,
For
until I
now,
get
for
replaced.
now. Yeah,
I think you're
exactly.
always secretly accepting applications. You
I
just
am.
don't
I am.
know. Just keep it from me. That's okay. Hey, we have the Pulsar Oryx XG35. Pulsar, we always get a lot of good response, Jason. A lot of viewers. Anytime there's a Pulsar review, obviously Pulsar had been in the game for a long, long time, probably from the very beginning of when this whole thing got kicked off and started and popular. But if you are watching this show, this is a monocular review, and if you're watching this because you're interested in a monocular, there's probably some criteria that you have in your mind that you're trying to base your decision on. Obviously, one of those is price, maybe resolution, maybe magnification, and you're trying to make sure that you get everything you want and get it in one unit and get it at the best value that you possibly can. Sometimes that takes more than just watching a review. That's a good first start. Watching reviews is a good first start and start to the process of buying. But to really know exactly what you need to focus on, what you need to not necessarily be told what you need to get, but give you some options to do some more further research. If you're looking to buy a monocular or any optic, night vision or thermal, you can give us a call, 877-350 1818. Let me say that again because I kind of 877-350-1818, outdoorlegacy.com. I need some more caffeine to get my brain working, but I know we're here to talk you through this. We take the confusion. I'll use our tagline. I haven't said it in a while. We take the confusion out of night vision and thermal optics. Jason, I'll be sending you the bill very, very
So,
soon on that.
yeah, so let me say, we're here to take that confusion out. I want to add one thing. Um, we're also here to sell optics. So we do more. And the reason I'm going to say this is we do get confusion sometimes. We've had guys who call and say, what do you mean you sell these? We thought you just did this as a hobby for fun. And so while we do all that, we would love to earn your business, love to have your business. We have a full service night vision and thermal company, and we anything we can do to earn your business, we'd love to do that. Again, shipping out of our warehouse here in Texas, 5 days a week. You place your order before noon Texas time, we'll get her shipped out the same business day.
Let me,
Hans,
yeah, I want to
go
add one
ahead.
more thing. I want to
Yeah.
thank I'm showing the Oryx right now, but I want to thank the viewers and the listeners because we haven't mentioned it, but we just crossed over 20,000 subscribers on YouTube. It seemed like it happened really quick. It seemed like it took forever. Either way, thank y'all very much and continue to subscribe and watch. We really, really appreciate it. I wanted to get that out because we have not
Oh,
mentioned it
good.
yet. Yeah.
Well, that is a big deal since we don't monetize the channel or show any commercials, so that makes it
Yeah.
a lot harder
And
to get those views. We don't have any commercials or anything that
yeah,
no
and
monetization.
that really hurts us a little bit because YouTube is not, we've talked about this, YouTube's not going to recommend our videos as often because we're not monetized. So they're going to recommend the videos that are monetized because they can sell advertising on that. We choose not to for a lot of different reasons. So make sure you're subscribed and you hit the notification bell so you will be reminded. You'll be sent a notification when a new show comes out. But you know what, y'all? Just put it in your phone every Thursday morning. Just be here. Just know that
Okay.
it's going to be there until it's not.
All right.
until
Until it's
it's,
not.
yeah.
Y'all buy thermals from us and we'll keep doing it. Okay, guys, let's talk about this unit. It is the Pulsar Oryx XG35. Hans left out one important little note when he mentioned the name, and it's LRF. So it's got a laser rangefinder in it. And it is a cool little unit. Hans has got the thing there. He's going to do a walk around, show you that. I'm going to go over some specs here real quick. We're going to get into everything about this. We're going to tell you what we really think. We're going to be honest with you about, what it can do, what it can't do, who it's good for. So stick around and watch that. We're also going to be showing you some clips out of this unit. We got a lot of hog footage. So while I'm reading these specs, Hans will be rolling that. Again, Pulsar Oryx. That's kind of a strange name. Oryx.
Does anybody know what an
X.
Oryx is?
I
Do
don't. I don't
okay.
know. I
Somebody in the
don't know. It's
comments, I'm
kind of
sure
like an
does.
orca. I don't know. It's like,
Orca.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
think they wanted to name theirs after a whale. I
I
don't think
don't
that
know.
gives a
I
good
don't have a
impression
clue
on
what an
size.
oryx is. Maybe it's like, I don't know. All right. It's the XG35 LRF. Again, laser rangefinder. Pricing on this unit is $27.99. And let's just roll through the specs real quick. It is a 640 by 480 12 micron sensor. Got an NETD rating of sub 20 millikelvin. 2.5 power base magnification, a 35 millimeter lens. It does have digital zoom, goes up to 20 power, but it starts at a 2.5 power optically. It's got a 66-foot horizontal field of view at 100 yards. It's a 50 hertz refresh rate on that sensor. It's got a 1024 by 768 display screen. It's got a detection range, according to Pulsar, of a 6 foot tall object, a hot object, at about 1950 yards. What really matters is what is the realistic identification range on something like a hog or a coyote. We're going to say somewhere in that 450 yard range. Could be further in good conditions, could be less in worse conditions. Bigger animals, deer, cows, elk, anything like that, obviously is going to be a longer range. But we'll just say somewhere in that 4 to 450 on a normal good condition night. It is rated down to negative 13 degrees Fahrenheit. Hans, you had the weight there. I don't remember what that was. I didn't
Yeah,
write that.
it was 16 and a half ounces. So basically, it's going to be just over a pound.
Yeah, just
Is going to
over
be
a
the weight.
pound. Um, and one thing here that I want to just get into a little bit is about the battery pack system. Very unique for a handheld because we have both an internal non-removable battery, which is an APS-3 battery. They've told us that that's a Pulsar battery that's inside of it. So it is replaceable by Pulsar if need be. And that battery on our runtime test got about 4.5 hours. And then it's got a fully removable APS-5 Pulsar battery that comes with it. We got about 6 hours and 45 minutes. So what you're looking at there is right out of the box, you've got around 11 hours and 15 minutes on our bench test. So that's a pretty good timeline of what you could expect. Granted, you get in the field, cold weather, obviously those numbers could go down. But here's the thing that struck us. We'll talk a little bit more about this in a minute. But as far as we can come up with, we kind of racked our brains on all of the premium brands. This is the longest possible runtime that you could get by a long ways on any thermal handheld right out of the box. A little over 11 hours. And don't forget, 6 hours, 45 minutes on that removable APS-5. You can buy another one for $80. And that's going to get you that, again, almost 7 hours more runtime. So I think you're going to hear us talk about it some more, but battery life, battery life, battery life. The unit does have the Pulsar USA 5-year warranty. That's a bumper to bumper warranty on this thing. As always, Pulsar located right here in Texas. And so any kind of customer service issues or warranty issues you might have in those years, you'll be able to send that to them right here in good old Texas, USA. Hans, show them around the unit.
I will. I'm going to say this right off the bat. Pulsar, the great thing about Pulsar that you can always count on over the years is when you grab one of their optics, whether it be a scope or a monocular, and it just feels like it's very high quality. I mean, this thing just really fits comfortably in your hand. The hand strap on it is padded, very comfortable. They do put a lot of effort into fit and finish, and I would say the customer experience. when you're getting this thing. So although this has, you talked about all that it does: laser rangefinder, 2 batteries, longest runtime of any hand scanner. I mean, it does seem somewhat compact. But I'll say this: here's the we talked about the padded hand strap, which is very important. It does have one of these the eye, what does he call this? Lens cover. Yeah, I just went blank. Magnetic lens cover, so it does attach to the hand strap, keeps it up out of the way. Got your button layout on top. This right here, I want to highlight this. This is a magnification. What would you call that? Magnification wheel, dial, something like that. It turns side to side, and that's how you fine tune your objective lens focus. Usually, it's down here by the objective lens. This one is right here by your front finger, your first finger.
You said magnification.
Did I? I meant
you did. I get because I was going. Wait a minute. What have I got? Yeah. Focus.
So you got to watch me. My focus is the focus adjuster. Sorry, it's not magnification.
You had me confused for a second.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Should just let me go on and keep everybody else confused. No, that way your focus adjustment is right here by your eye. So you're actually manipulating it with your pointer finger here, right here. So that's how you focus it. Now it does have the eyepiece to afterfocus right here by your eyepiece. That just turns like normal. But that's kind of a cool, easy, I would say what it allows you to do, Jason, is allows you to focus this scanner with one hand instead of having to reach up with a second hand to focus it. You can now focus it with just one hand. That's I think a nice little feature. It does have a tripod jack on the bottom. That's also where your USB-C cord goes into. Jason talked about the removable battery. That's right here. It's just a little cap right here underneath the eyepiece. Very standard. If you've used a Pulsar product before, just a very standard rubber eye cup. Their eye cups to me are very comfortable. Pulsar eye cups to me have just been always, never had a problem with them at all. But that's what, a little over a pound. I mean, as far as size, here's my hand. About, if you go from eye cup to objective lens, about the length of my hand. So somewhat compact, Jason.
So overall, I like this optic. I think there's, you said that, and again, this wasn't planned. I didn't know what you were going to say, but when you said something about Pulsar and what you can expect, I knew exactly where you were going. When I handed this unit for the first time to our other salesman, Garrett, the very first thing when he picked it up, he's like, "Man, that feels nice." I mean, it's you just a Pulsar when you pick it up. That's an alloy type housing. It's not plastic. It's just got a little bit of a solid, sturdy feel
Feels
to
rugged.
it.
Feels
It's
rugged.
just rugged. It
It
does.
feels like you could take it backcountry and drop it and not worry
Well, that's
about
what they
it.
claim. They claim that on their. I mean, I was looking at their specs, and it says, basically a higher drop protection because of that housing, and it is. They Pulsar, attention to detail, fit finish. It's the little things. So yeah, overall, I do like it. I think that there's some good. I think there's some things we need to be aware of that could be potential negatives for people. I think if we want to talk about the good first, I would say that one thing for a guy who's really looking for a Pulsar monocular, this is going to be in my opinion, your value for the dollar. The reason I say that is if we go down to their entry level Axion in a 640, you've got the XG30. That unit's like $2,000, give or take. So you're going to spend, whatever, $700-800 more, but you're going to get a much better image quality. You're going to get a laser rangefinder. You're going to get a much longer battery runtime. If we go up from here, we get into the Telos. Now, if we go to a Telos XP50 LRF, admittedly, you're going to get a significantly better image quality, but it's also going to be $1,000 more. No, more than that, maybe $1,200 more. Sorry, because it's $4,000. So you've got a big gap if you go down. You got a big gap if you want to go up, staying in these Pulsar lines. So, and by the way, one thing I didn't even mention on that Axion XG30, it doesn't even have a laser rangefinder. So to have the laser rangefinder, again, we're comparing apples and apples now, you got to go all the way up to that that Telos XP50. And yes, I want to be clear that the Telos is a much better image quality in the XP, but at that much extra money, it should be. So think value for the dollar. I think the one concern that I do have, that probably the biggest concern, is something that needs to be addressed for guys that are going to be, in my opinion, the deep south, East Texas, or moving up maybe into your West Coast. Like, I know Washington State is, they get like rain for, or at least part of the state, rain for just months and months. If you get in those kind of conditions, I do think this unit's going to struggle in that extremely high humidity and high dew point situation. That's a whole other topic we can get into. We've talked about it a long time ago. We probably ought to do it again. Everybody thinks they have high humidity. Having high humidity doesn't really mean anything unless you also have a high dew point, which often you're not going to have in most places for very long, besides maybe a day or two outside of the South and some of these more coastal or tropical type environments. But
Yeah,
again,
basically,
that's it.
if you're not waking up and your yard's not covered in water and there's not water beating off your cars, then you probably
Yes.
don't really have that high
Yeah.
of a humidity.
When I go to bed at night in the summer, I hear water and it's dripping and it's in my gutters.
Yeah.
I have a metal roof and the water, the dew forms by 10, 11 o'clock, and it drips, it runs off the house, and I can hear it in my gutters. That's when we're talking about the kind of high humidity, and that, again, that has to do with the dew point as well, because that's what it, anyway. Not going to get into all that. That's a whole nother topic. Maybe we can talk about that one day on the show. But I do think in those kind of conditions, this unit does struggle some. I think once you lose that high dew point, high humidity, I think it does great. I think in your drier conditions, in your cold or cool conditions, it's going to do very good. But I do think that it will struggle some in those. I just want to be clear that I don't know if everybody thinks they have high humidity, but I don't think it's as bad as maybe they think. Hans, what do you say?
Yeah, I agree with you on the humidity thing, and I do agree that people that say they have high humidity probably don't have enough humidity to really affect this. This is for extreme areas that I would say have high humidity. But I want to talk about, you and I talk about it all the time, and I love to focus on what makes an optic unique. That's what really gets me excited. And if battery life is important to you or crucial to you, if you're going out and spending all night out in the field hunting, if you're camping, backpacking, surveillance, whatever, if battery life is crucial to you, this is, like we've talked about, this is going to give you better battery life than really longer battery life than anything else on the market. And like Jason said, for what, $80, you can get another over 6 hours of runtime, which is a really, I mean, gosh, you think about it right out of the box. You're getting over 11 for another $80. You can get almost 18, or so it's a really, that's an important thing. People ask me all the time about monoculars. Well, how long is the battery life? How long is, because it's going to be on all night long. Your scope, it's not going to be on that much typically. Your monocular, from just about the time you get in the truck to the time you pull in your driveway when you get home, that monocular is on for most people. So battery life is crucial. That is the unique, if you take away anything from this review, that 1 point should stick in your brain as far as this is going to get you the longest runtime. I would say I really like the fit and finish we've talked about. The way that it feels in my hand, feels great. It's a Pulsar product, a premium brand. Pulsar, again, helped, I'm not going to say they did, helped make night hunting available for the mass, majority of the country. They were able to mass produce these optics at a fair price, and that's really what kicked off the popularity, and that's what they've really been known for, their longevity in the market. I would say other than that, the only other thing that I noticed, Jason, that I kind of fumbled with, and maybe it's my own bias because I've used Pulsar monoculars for so long and the button layout was always the same almost, the Axions, the Telos, the Helions. The buttons were always in a straight line. To me, it seemed like, I don't remember. They're like 4 buttons, and they were all in a straight line. I'll show you this. This button layout had me tripping out, not tripping out, tripping up, not tripping out, definitely not tripping out, tripping up. You got your power button, then you have your inline, but then you got this. You got 3 buttons right here, one in the middle, your menu button, and then these 2 that navigate through the menu. I struggled with that a lot, and I know you did too, because we did talk about it. That was really the only other thing that I saw as a negative for me personally. Now, we have to give a caveat when we talk about this kind of stuff, Jason, because we're using so many optics that, if this was our only monocular, we could probably get it figured out and be no problem at all. But when we go from this to another optic to 3 more optics and then back to this for testing, it takes our brain a second to like, okay, what does this button do again? So we're going back through it. It's probably something more wrong with us than the optic, but definitely did trip up with it. I think if you look at it, Jason, it might give you a little bit of trouble with gloves on. That 3 buttons across the side.
It could. So
Yeah, I mean, a little bit.
it's weird because I agree with everything you just said. I had trouble sometimes like finding that button and pressing the center. When you do, it opens up the menu. From there, you use the left and the right little button there to go through the menus. I liked that. Like when I got the menu open, it felt very intuitive, but something about finding that button. The only other thing that I noticed on the buttons is that the power button, and maybe it was just my unit that I've got. You've got a different unit. I've got my own. The power button was stiff. And so when I would go to press it and turn it on, I would press it and think that I turned it on, and then I'd look down and it wasn't on. I have to press it again. I don't know. It felt it didn't have a lot of a cushion or whatever.
Yeah,
But
I had a little bit of the same experience. I mean, nothing big. It's just, I turn it on, look down, it's like, oh, it's not on. Then I'd,
yeah,
then I'd
that's
really
exactly
push
what
it.
I would.
Yeah. Yeah. You
Yeah,
figured
that's
it'd
what
be
I
on, but
would.
then I'd push it and I'd sit there and look and make sure it did come on. But yeah,
Yeah,
had a
I
little bit of that
again
too. Yeah.
probably just little stiff button. So you talked about the battery life, and here's something that I remember talking to a customer on the phone one time, and he wasn't wrong, but it was just kind of funny the way it went down. I don't know what optic it was, but it was something that had really good battery life, and it was like 8 hours. And he said, yeah, but I'm up north and I'm going to be hunting. It's -20. And he's like, you take that 8 hours and throw it out the window. It's really probably 4, or less because it's going to be so cold. And he went on and on about, the 8 hours doesn't do me any good. And I mean, I just let him go, man. You just understand these conditions, blah, blah, and I'm going to get half that or less, you know. And then finally, I said, okay, well, do you want to look at this optic then? Would you prefer to look at the one that only gets 3 hours of runtime? I mean, because
Yeah.
now you're
That's
going
going
to
to be
get
worse.
half of that. I mean, or
Yeah.
less.
That's,
So I
that's right.
think that the point that I would make there is you may be in that extremely cold weather. You may not get this 11 hours. You may get half that. You might get 25% of that. But if you're only going to get 25%, I'd rather start at 11 than 3,
Yeah.
I mean, that's just, so
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
think that the point I'm making is, and Hans has been, I don't want to just beat this, but that's a lot of battery life for a handheld unit. And so I think that is going to appeal to the cold weather guys. As you mentioned, you buy one more $80 battery, the APS-5, and you're talking about getting into that 16 hours. You go, well, I'm only going to get half that. Okay, you guys still got 8. I mean, that's a long, long time. So,
And we're just
yeah,
throwing
I
that out
think
there. We
so.
don't know it's 50% less, but we're just
No, I
throwing
have
that out.
no clue
Yeah.
of that. I mean, I'm just what people say sometimes. So yeah, and I think that again, one thing I'm huge on, and you've already mentioned it. I can't go and not mention it, and that's the padded hand strap. I think that is huge when you're hunting long hours. I think if you're going to go out and you're going to pill around for 30 minutes, it doesn't matter. But if you're going to walk, if you're going to be mobile, if you're going to do a lot of hunting in a night, if you're going to be riding around, that hand strap is great. You can literally just palm it, have it there, not have to be holding it the whole time.
It just
I
feels like
like
it's
that a lot.
glued to your hand when you
It
have that.
does.
I mean,
It does.
you can do, you don't realize it, but when you have a good hand, I know this sounds ridiculous. You're going to be like, what are you talking about? But when you have a good padded hand strap, you can almost still do things with that hand that you're
You
holding
can.
monocular with. So it's almost like, it's not like having two hands, but it's like having one and a half hands, you know, it kind of, because you can still do stuff and maneuver and do stuff because that monocular is going to stay glued to the palm of your hand with that hand strap.
That's right. I think that one thing, I didn't mention this in the specs, I'll throw this out here because somebody's probably going to ask. Um, it does have all of the normal specs you would expect. The color palettes. It's got the video recording, audio recording, the smartphone app for streaming. We've kind of gotten to the point we don't mention that stuff anymore because every single optic has it. I mean, I kind of feel like beating on that now is like, saying that the new truck on the dealership's lot has air conditioning and a radio, FM
Well,
radio. I
you
mean,
know
well,
what
yeah, I
we
would
you know what
hope.
spec we used to talk about years and years ago that we don't even mention now is how much storage on the
Yes.
internal
The
hard
the
well,
the
the storage
the like
whatever.
memory for recording your
Yeah, we used to
videos.
talk
Yeah.
about yeah we used to, now it's like so much that you would
Who
never
cares?
even use it all. You know, it's like
You'll never use it.
forever long. Yeah.
No. So I do think at the end of the day, great optic for what it is. I think that if you, I mean, again, look at the price point of this. Does Pulsar have less expensive optics? 100%. You're going to get less. Do they have more expensive? Yes, you're going to get more, but you're going to spend a whole lot more to get that. If you're looking for the best, I think you go to a Telos. I think if you're looking for a value for the dollar in between, and you really want this laser rangefinder as well. I do think that at this price point, it's going to be a good value for a lot of people. I think the one thing I'd be a little concerned of is if you are hunting in the summer in these nasty conditions down south, or like I said, maybe on the west coast up there, Washington State type areas, might be a little bit concerned. If you live in a rainforest, I think you will. I think that image will, suffer just a little bit there. I think the trade off is the value for the dollar. I think that it's the battery life. I think it's the fit, the finish, the removable battery, all those things I think make it a good buy for a lot of people.
Yep. With that being said, again, we are here to help you. And if you want to buy an optic and you want to buy it from Outdoor Legacy, we would invite you to give us a call, get on the website, check out what optics that we work with, what we sell. I say we, all of us, Jason, Garrett, we all test these optics. You know, we do these reviews. We use these optics for quite a long time because we're putting together a lot of clips. You know, we talked about in the past to do 2 or 3 minutes worth of video clips at 5 to 10 seconds a piece. I mean, it's a lot of nights out using and testing these optics in a lot of different types of conditions. If you want that experience, if you want to be able to talk to somebody and know that this is right for you or how it compares to any other monocular out there on the market, we'd love to help you and earn your business. You can call us at 877-350-1818. This has been the Pulsar Oryx LRF XG35 review. We appreciate you joining us. If this is the first time you've seen this show, if you just was searching monoculars and our show popped up, welcome. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate the fact that you tuned in with us, and we would really love for you to tune in on multiple weeks, on next week. Every Thursday morning, we do another show, another podcast. You can watch it on YouTube, subscribe there, on Spotify, iTunes, anywhere podcasts are being played. You'll be able to find our show, The Late Night Vision Show, and you can find us on all the socials, Outdoor Legacy, on Facebook and on Instagram. You can find the Late Night Vision Show. If you subscribe to the Late Night Vision Show on Instagram or Facebook, you'll get a notification that morning that the show's been released. So that'll help remind you as well. You can find me, Hans, on YouTube at Hans ETX, and also on Facebook and Instagram, Hans ETX. ETX stands for East Texas. That is not my last name. So Hans, East Texas.
Weird last
Yeah,
name.
yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. Listen, we appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed this. If you got questions, if you listen to this and go, okay, it sounds great. It sounds like every other optic. They're all great. I don't know what I need. Give us a call. We're glad to help you. Love to have your business, help you sort through and figure out which one is right for you. Hope to see you here again next week. Between now and then, y'all stay safe.